Hi friends, so you are welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time, kindly consider subscribing. I want to let you know that this is the right place to be, where all your questions about the USMLE get answered, all your doubts get cleared. And so I've done several videos in the past, and it might interest you to go through my channel page and see whatever video that might resonate with you, or you might like, or so I've been on this journey for some time, and this past week has been a very happy moment for me, because I marched successfully into internal medicine in a very good program, and I'll be beginning my residency in June of this year, 2023. And hopefully I will be able to complete it in 2026. So it is a journey, and all of you are welcome to join me as we all ride along this road together. I'm so happy for all the love that all of you have shown me. Some of you have been with me throughout my step one, step two journey. There are some days that I've been down myself, even though I encourage people on this channel. But hey, we are all living beings, and we all have our fair share of the good days and then the bad days. But in this video, what I want to do is that several people have requested me to give a summary of my entire journey. So that's exactly what I am going to do. Kindly watch to the end, and also share this video with anybody who might need it. To begin from my med school days, honestly, I did not plan to take the USMLE when I gained admission into the medical school in 2013. So I did my medical school in China in 2013, in Hebei North University to be precise. And so when I was in school, I heard about USMLE, and you check YouTube and people are talking about it, and it's just hard to get to those people to ask them the kind of questions that I had at the time. So I had no idea, I had no plan to take the exam. But going on, I think I was in the fourth year, that was in 2017, December, when the thought came and I started planning towards moving to the US after school. And so eventually it worked out that I was able to come to the US. I got a green card visa to move to the US in 2019 after I graduated from the med school. So, and now it left me with no chance than to take the USMLE, because my plan was that if I moved to the US successfully, I will sit for the exam. So it happened that I got to the US, and so now I have to take the exam. So I started studying for the USMLE whilst working. I have no family in the US, and then I have to be by myself. I had to plan myself and also work and to put food on the table. So I started grinding a little by little, and I studied for some time. Then I had to register for the exam. I put in my registration. I applied with ECFMG. I did my notary with Notary Com, where they verify my form, is it 186, and then they verified that with my passport. And after that, now I have the chance to submit my application, online application with ECFMG for ECFMG certification. And I say certification because the day one application is application for certification, but it is a process. You need to write step one, step two. You take your OET English requirement and also do your pathway before you get that final certification. So the initial application is the application for ECFMG certification. So I did my application. ECFMG would send my some requests to my medical school, which so that they verify my credentials, being my my enrollment into the school and also my transcript. So they did that. It took some number of weeks, but eventually they got the feedback. So I was still studying at the same time. So Now I had to like prep for step one, right? So I was on the step one journey and my registration had gone through. So now I chose a date. We have this triad that you have to choose a certain like 3 months period that you want to take the exam. I chose that day and I studied towards it. Getting close to the date, I mean, the first time I wasn't ready for the exam. So what I did was I had to extend the date, and also COVID came, and then ECFMJ gave us some their own extension by 1 year. So it gave me more time to start. Basically, I used about almost 2 years, if not more, but almost 2 years to study for step one. I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes. Like it could have been faster than that, but that's why I encourage people to use smart ways than I did, and then I shared those smart ways on my YouTube channel. The results that I use for step one basically are the UWorld, first aid, and then the pathoma. But first aid, it's like the Bible. You still need a pastor to decode it, right? So I use the Boss and Beyond videos alongside with the first aid to explain whatever I did not understand. Pathoma was also very, very good for pathology. The first 4 chapters of Pathoma were very, very phenomenal because they are highly tested on the exams. One important thing is also my study partner. I used a study partner throughout my journey up till today, even when I'm taking the step 3. I also did some amboss, a little bit of amboss. I did RX, because those days it wasn't like now that you just need a pass or fail on step 1, but it was a 3-digit score, and you needed a high score to secure residency, to look good in front of the program directors, even though that is not what they look finally at. There are a lot of things that they look for you to match into residency. Yeah, so I was successful on step 1. I had 231 at the time. I wish I had higher than that, but hey, that's what I got. During step 1, before I move on, I did some self-assessments also, and these self-assessments are from UWorld. So when you buy the online UWorld, there are 2 self-assessments that you get to do. I also did the NBME self-assessments. So these self-assessments are from the National Board of Medical Examiners. So they put out these self-assessments, and I remember doing several of them. And these ones, like what they do is that they give, it's like a mock test, right? So you are able to gauge your preparedness for the steps. Yeah, I did that. But whilst doing my step 1, I was thinking about how to get some US clinical experience. So right after taking step 1, I did my first US clinical experience. I did about 1 month, and I did another one about 6 weeks for that. So those were my first 2 clinical experiences. I worked for some time, and then I came and I sat home again, and I started prepping for step 2. Step 2 was a little bit different from step 1, but most of the content was built up on whatever was in the step 1, but they did not test more on the basic sciences like biochemistry, genetics, there were still some biostat questions, more difficult ones. And this time it was more of like management, your next best step, imaging, So I took some time to study for that, about 6 months for that, 5 to 6 months. And again, I did some NBME self-assessments. I also did some CMS forms. And if you've not heard about it, it's also some of the self-assessment by the NBME. But what they do is that this time it's more of it's subject-wise. So you can get OB questions alone, PEDS questions alone, and you can also get medicine questions alone, psych questions alone. So I did a couple of them also to test my preparedness. UWorld self-assessments were also available. So step 2 also came with its own challenges. There are days that I take NBMEs and I'm performing very low, but anytime I perform very low, even though I felt bad because of the hard work that I put in the whole stuff, I still took that as a learning, like there's more room for improvement, because if I was to take the test on the day that I did not do well on NBME, that would mean that I would not do well. So I learned my lessons quickly, and the topics that I did not do well, I make sure I review them before I take the next NBME. Yeah, so whilst prepping for the NBME, I did the OET, which is the Occupation English Test. Is the English requirement for ECFMG, and also I tried to also start working on my pathways, so I did pathway 6, where I got 3 doctors and they assessed me on 2 patients each, and then they scored me, and all this is needed for your ECFMG certification. So I got them and I passed my OET also. And at the same time, I had enrolled in a research program where we were in a team of attendings, residents, and colleagues like me who were taking the USMLE. So we did some publications. So first of all, we did some research. We did some brainstorming on a lot of research topics. I wrote a case report where I went into a conference to present it, publish that also. Because most of the programs, what they do is that they look at your research, especially those of us who would want to do fellowship, they will look at your research and see how ready you are or how prepared you are to kickstart your fellowship requirements. But if I were going to apply for something like a family medicine, if I were going to apply for something like a primary care, or if I want to become a hospitalist, then I wouldn't worry about research, because I don't think they look at that. But if you want to go into fellowship like GI fellowship, nephrology, cardio fellowship, then you should have done some research work on those subjects, so that they can know that, hey, this guy is really serious about going into fellowship. So they really look at that. So I did some research work also, just to help my application. When I got my step 2 results, I think we had like 2 weeks to start to complete the whole application. So I had to quickly chase or go after these doctors that I did my USC with to get my letters of recommendation from them. And at the same time, I was working on my application. So I got all ready, I got everything ready, and within 2 weeks, I had submitted my application. And there's a lot that goes into the application, a lot. There are several ways to go about it. I talked to several people, who also guided me. They gave me some vital information. Everybody added something good, and I'm really grateful to everyone that was helpful. Any little information that someone shared with me, I really appreciate it. So after submitting of the application, I was here hoping that I will get an interview. The first few letters that came back, or first few emails that came back, were rejection emails. Some of the programs would say they want you to write and tell them again, explain why you chose them specifically. Eventually, I got a lot of interviews. I got almost about 14 interviews, and I had to spread them from I think around November. I started my interviews in November. I finished in January. It was a lot. Getting to the end, I was even fed up. I was so fed up with the interviews because it was too much. And the program that I matched into, I think it was one of the first interviews that I did. So yeah, so we went through all those interview period, and after the interviews, we had to rank the program. So we ranked them according to choices, right? So I had my first choice, second choice, up to the 13th choice. 13 because one of my programs I got a pre-match in New York, but New York wasn't a place that I wanted to live at, so I rejected that one. And so after submitting my rank order list, we waited for about 2 weeks to for the match day. So on the match day, I had my first email that says I had matched, and that was on a Monday, I think March 13th, and then I waited until the Friday of that week, March 17th, to find out where I matched into. So after I matched, like, I've had a lot of paperwork all over here. The programs have sent me a lot of paperwork to sign and send it back to them. And so I'm looking to relocate, move, and then in June I'll begin my residency. And hopefully I'll be able to get a chance to update all of you about whatever is going on in residency, and how the journey is going to be in residency. So I'll make sure to inform all of you about it. So this is my little journey. If you have anything to add, maybe I know I would have left a lot of things out, but this is just a little summary. So if you have any further questions, you can leave it in the comment box for me. I will be glad to answer your questions. And kindly share this video to anyone who might be interested in it. Also, remember to subscribe. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.